Touchdown Tampa Bay. You're listening to the Pewtercast.
Welcome to the Pewtercast. I am Brent Allen, your host, joined as always by my good friend Ren. What in the world are you doing over there, Daxed?
Hello.
Hi.
What's happening?
I don't know. You're making very weird noises over there.
Oh, you could hear me?
Yes, I could.
I was mouthing your opening.
Gotcha. I see that. If anybody would like to see how well Ren did at that, you can go check us out on the YouTube channel.
I got a big lip
now.
sync battle coming up. So
You're practicing for it?
Yes, exactly. It's called freestyle lip syncing.
Interesting. You have to let us know how that goes.
Sure.
Would like to say hello, welcome. We are going live with this is our Wednesday show, our midweek show, and this is the show where we sort of take a break from all the hoo-ha of what's going on over the course of the week as far as games and all that, and we talk about something else, albeit still related to our beloved Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I think we've got a really good topic on hand this week. This one, not so much off the wall as much as it is actually fairly relevant. Relevant to what's going on. But not talking about game stuff. Ren, outside of lip syncing battles, how you doing?
I've been better, buddy. I've been better. You know how that story about getting that bush out of the yard?
Uh-huh.
I have now started taking out the Brazilian pepper tree stumps that I cut down to the stumps about 8 months ago, telling Cheryl I would get to them. All right, I'm going to take out all these pepper trees. And it got to the point where they all started to grow back, like off the stumps. So I had to trim them down, and I removed the first one. It took me 2 days to remove this one, which it's nothing like that stupid bush, which was like trying to chisel out of jail with a chisel. Like the headway on that was so slow. And this is going much faster, but still, I mean, these are stumps, man. This isn't like I'm not digging up a hibiscus bush here. This is these things were like 12 feet high, and there's like 7 of them.
So you're in pain from having done all that. Is that?
I was okay. I was okay today when I woke up. But tomorrow might not be, because I had to roll the stump out of the hole. And then had to roll it to the garbage can, tip the garbage can over, roll it into the garbage can, then pick up the garbage can. And the stump is so heavy when I pushed the garbage can up. Of course, the stump hit the front of the garbage can and almost took it all the way over into the alley, but it didn't. Then I had to remaneuver it on the platform, and And I went to go fill the hole in. And I was just so beat. Like, I can't. I waited I gave it 20 minutes, and I went and did it. And I got like 4 scoops of dirt in. I'm like, I'm just doing this tomorrow. So we shall see if I hurt tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah, super exciting.
Well, tune in tomorrow for the exciting sequel.
I am an artisanal stump remover, because I do by hand. Well, I like to do it back the way the ancestors did it. Not even a mule and chain, man. Like, just axe.
You took a rock and you tied it to the end of a string or a stick, and that's your axe as you're hacking away.
No, we're in the Iron Age. Like, I have,
you go out to the anvil and you fold. Okay, I'm moving on.
No,
that's way too long on that little story.
I borrowed the axe.
Oh, okay.
Plus, I have a chainsaw. Anyway.
Gotcha. Well, Ren, today we were talking about Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Going on right now, Pro Bowl voting has opened. I didn't even realize that it opened until like 2 or 3 days after it had gone live.
I thought it's only been open 2 or 3 days.
It opened on the 12th.
Did it?
I think what I saw. Yeah. So as we record this right now, if that number is correct, it's been open about 6 days. But Pro Bowl voting is open, and we always like to talk about potential Pro Bowlers on our team. And so for today, we thought we'd just kind of go through the team and talk about not only who do we think really has a good shot at making the Pro Bowl, but also maybe at least who are the people who should at least be in consideration, even if they may not
Who should get
make
some
the Pro Bowl.
votes?
Yeah, exactly. Who would be worthy? The caveat I'm going to give to this, and we may forego this part of the conversation, is usually we'll say, okay, well, if you're going to make the Pro Bowl, then who's getting out of the Pro Bowl? Like, because you got to take somebody's spot. There's only so many. There's limited spaces, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll avoid that for all of these things and just kind of let the players rest on their own merits,
right?
If that makes sense.
We're not going to go. Yeah, we're not going to go. Oh, Ali deserves to go, but who does he have to beat out? Like, no.
Exactly. We'll let them talk about their own merits. And for those of you that are joining us live and you're in the chat room, first of all, hello to you guys. If you want to drop your thoughts as we're talking, we may or may not shout them out, but you guys are certainly welcome to do that. We'll go through that. But I think, Ren, the best way to just sort of go through this is just kind of go positionally through. We'll start on the offense and just sort of work our way across the team and see who on the roster we think might have a shot, who should at least be in consideration, and maybe who has no shot whatsoever.
I'm not going to go with who has no shot whatsoever. But are we going to give sort of like, we're going to talk about, wait, do you mean who should get votes but has no shot of making it?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you don't mean Donovan Smith, is what you're saying.
No, that would be a foregone conclusion.
That's a no shot whatsoever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
That would
somebody
be
who's in consideration, but you
Uh-huh.
don't think, or we don't think, is going to get it.
Right, like spoiler. Well, okay. Well, no, I'll save it.
You know what's interesting? I was listening to Scott and Casey today, and Scott Smith said this is probably, since the game's not being played, this is probably going to be one of the bigger honors of making the Pro Bowl, because there's no replacements. Like these are the guys, like when Jameis got his, he was like the 6th replacement.
Right.
But he's a Pro Bowler.
Mm-hmm.
So, so this one means a little more than most years, because even if you're on IR, like, you're still not getting replaced.
Right. Well, why don't we do that? Let's just sort of walk through it, and we'll go through the list. We'll start on offense, and we'll start where you always should when you start on offense. Let's talk about the quarterback, Blaine Gabbert. What do you think? Has he got a shot at making the? No. We're not talking about him. Obviously, Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady's perennial Pro Bowler. Mm-hmm. Is he having another Pro Bowl year? We also know, and I guess we can talk about the idea of, like, once you've made the Pro Bowl, you tend to keep making it. Like, it's sort of that thing, whether you actually deserve it or not. So we can discuss how that factors in. But what do you think, Tom Brady? Does he is this a Pro Bowl nod year again for him?
Well, let's do what we said we weren't going to do. Who's he up against?
Drew Brees. Well, you gotta look. But seriously, I don't know how many quarterbacks they take for each side, but in the NFC, who do we have? It's 3. Is it 3 on each side?
It's 3. Yeah.
I think Drew Brees has to be in that conversation at some point.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is there. Yeah. Tom Brady is there. You got those big 3.
Russell Wilson
are they in? Yeah, they're NFC.
Yeah. Kyler Murray.
You think so?
7-3. He's in the conversation.
Okay, fair enough.
I think he's going to get votes. He's going to get votes. Right. Anybody else in the NFC South? Matt Ryan might get some votes just because his team stinks.
Yeah.
And no one in the NFC East at all. Yeah, I guess that's kind of it. Who am I missing?
As injured as he is,
Dak's played like 2 games.
Right, that's what I mean. Like
no.
Yeah.
He will get he will get no votes.
Well, he'll get some votes from the fans out of Dallas.
Well, then they're retarded. But we already knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Brady's got a good shot. I think he's played well enough, and it's this, as we know, this award is linked to the teams that have better records, and the Bucs are 7-3.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I think Brady's got a real good shot.
All right. Well, let's jump into the backfield. Let's talk about our running back position. Let's talk about Rojo. Rojo's having the kind of a year that it almost feels a little quiet to me. Now, granted, he just broke off that big run, but a couple of things that people might not realize. Rojo has like the third largest number of yards of all running backs in the entire league right now.
Right. Yeah.
He's
got benched like 3 times.
Right. He's also like what 200 yards, less than 200 yards away from breaking 1,000 yards on the season.
300. I think he's like just over 7.
Is he just over? Okay. But anyway, he's close. Like,
yeah. Oh, he's going to get
games that he could get it. Yeah. So you have all that, but as you mentioned, he's been benched a few times. He's had some fumble issues, and again, this is where I'll go back to.
He's been terrible before this year.
Right.
Can't catch.
Right. So does Rojo, let's ask it as a 2-part. Does Rojo at least deserve Pro Bowl consideration, getting some votes? But what do you think the reality is of him actually making the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, he's not going to make the Pro Bowl.
I agree.
Yeah. He's second in the NFC in yards behind Dalvin Cook. The only other player in front of him is Derrick Henry out of Tennessee. But when you got names like Ezekiel Elliott, Nick Chubb is now back. Yeah. He's AFC. I'm sorry. Carson's having a good year in Seattle when he's not injured. I mean, there's just this is where like the Christian McCaffrey,
regardless of being injured. Alvin Kamara,
definitely.
Yeah.
Like Kamara's going in before Rojo. Like I'll vote Kamara in before Rojo.
Right.
So I don't know if they take 2 or 3 or maybe even 4, but I think it's a stretch here. Definitely below 50%.
Right.
Maybe even only 20, 17. I'm just talking myself down. 15.2.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think Rojo makes it, but yeah,
let me ask you this:
Sure.
6 remaining games in the season. Right. Pro Bowl voting ends though. It's probably going to end way too late. December 12th is actually when Pro Bowl voting ends. So we've got maybe 2 more games, maybe 3 more games total.
Right.
Is there anything Rojo can do over the next 3 games that would catapult him although we don't think it's going to happen, but like what would that be if it were to catapult him into that sort of stratosphere?
Well, if they let him, free Rojo, give him 20 touches Monday night, and he has like 100+ yards, 150 combined yards, has a Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara game against the Rams, and the Bucs win. And then, he was up for like the FedEx Ground and Air Player of the Week. And if he has one of those games against the Chiefs, the 2 of the back-to-back, this is probably the toughest 2-game stretch the Bucs are going to face this year. And if he comes up big in both those games, I think, that it will help him a lot, especially since one's going to be a Monday night game.
Right.
Even if with the Saints debacle, like Rojo did nothing to lose that game for the Bucs. He got the ball 3 times. I think he carried it for like 7 and 5 and then 0 on the goal line.
Right.
And that was it. So I thought, he did his job for 3 plays.
But doing your job for 3 plays, even if that's the only 3 plays you get, isn't exactly something that's going to earn.
Yeah, but no one's going to remember that. Like, he's not the problem. Everyone's going to remember the defense and Tom Brady looking terrible.
Right.
When they think, of the last time they saw the Bucs play.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's move out. Let's go to the wide receiver position. Now, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both made Pro Bowls last year.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown is back on the team this year. I don't anticipate him getting any sort of Pro Bowl nod.
No.
I think that's so dubious. But Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, Chris has had a lot of injury this year and hasn't really had a chance to consistently shine like he did last year.
Right.
Mike Evans has been shut down for multiple games this year.
Right. Or not targeted.
Or just, simply not targeted. However, he somehow still leads the team in receptions and yards and touchdowns. And I'm not sure where he is as far as ranking in the rest of the NFC. But what do you think? Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, they also still have they're in the club thing going for him. What do you think about it?
I don't think either of them make it. I think Mike's not going to make it because he's not having you're going to compare Mike Evans' year to Mike Evans' years, and he's not going to get 1,000 yards, and he's not going to set the all-time record for 7 years in a row, starting off your career making 1,000 yards. And like you said, Chris Godwin's been hurt too much. I think he's missed more games than he's played.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, there's like 2 games left, just a handful before the Pro Bowl votes have to go in. I think Godwin has a better, even with Mike Evans being Mike Evans, I think Godwin has a better chance because I think nationally people like what
Chris Godwin last year.
Yeah. You know, like he
Chris
runs
Godwin
after the catch.
I was reading I'm sorry. I was reading something earlier where they said that in fantasy football this year, Chris Godwin hand over fist went like significantly more before Mike Evans did in drafts. Like across the board.
Look, I think Chris Godwin is a better receiver, all around receiver when you take everything into effect. Like, look at it this way. And this is not that Mike stinks and Chris is great. What it is can Chris Godwin do everything Mike Evans does on the outside?
That's not a rhetorical question. Can he do everything? Here's the thing. Mike Evans, some way by virtue of his height, he really does have that ability to come down with the ball and snatch it away from defenders and just get over their head. I don't know that Chris Godwin has that ability. That just lack of height. But Chris Godwin absolutely has the ability, kind of like a DeAndre Hopkins, where he could be in traffic and be the guy who comes down with the ball. Like inexplicably. So that's my only hesitation of going, yes.
Okay. So everything except for like the climbing, not that he can't climb the ladder. He just can't climb the ladder as high.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can Mike Evans do what Chris Godwin does in the slot?
No. And I think the biggest thing between the two is you got to start looking at Yak. Like they both can make crazy catches. Chris Godwin can turn around and pick you up a bunch of extra yards afterwards, and Mike Evans just doesn't.
Starts looking for a place to land.
Yeah, but Mike Evans is just Mike Evans is such a bigger target though.
He is
than Chris Godwin.
I agree.
You look at a lot of those catches that Chris Godwin makes. Those throws have to be threaded on a needle, to use that phrase. They got to be on a dime to get to him. It's a crazy throw, but he comes up with a crazy catch. With Mike Evans, it just kind of put it in the zone and he'll go up and get it. So it's a different thing. But anyway, point being, you think Chris Godwin's a better all-around receiver than Mike Evans?
Yes, and I think everyone knows it but Bucs fans.
All right, fair enough. What do you think Mike Evans knows it too?
No. I think he does, but he'll never admit it.
Right. When it comes to these two, it wouldn't surprise me if they made the Pro Bowl, and it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't. Either way, like I don't like if I would tend to say probably not, but it wouldn't surprise me if they managed to slip in there either.
I would be surprised if either of them made it. I'd be really surprised if Mike made it.
Yeah.
And I would be surprised, but I would feel vindicated if Chris Godwin made it. But again, I don't think he has enough time left because he's missed too many games.
Right.
And AB's not going to make it. Scotty Miller's not going to make it. And, Tyler Johnson off his 4 catches, he's not going to make it.
Let me ask you this, just for Mike Evans on that 1,000-yard thing.
Sure.
He's currently on the season right now 514 yards.
Okay.
In 6 games, do you think he gets another 500 yards?
He could. I mean, that's easy. That's
right.
What, that's 80 yards a game? And every game that you have, if he has 2 games of 120, then he could, it gets cut in half.
Yeah.
If the next few games he goes for 120, then he can play a game where he gets no yardage and still hit 80 and get 80 on the other 3 and make it.
It just depends on if Brady wants to target him or not.
Yeah. It's all on Tom Brady. That would have been the question I would have asked Tom Brady if we were allowed to go to training camp this year. I shouldn't say allowed. If we tried to go to training camp this year, would have been, hey, Tom, how soon when you met Mike Evans did he let you know that he needed 1,000 yards to break the all-time record? Right after he said, hi, I'm Mike, nice to meet you. When did the subject of 1,000 yards
or after Harry Potter?
Right.
Or after Harry Potter. Our friend Joey over in the chat room says that he doesn't think either Evans or Godwin are going to make the Pro Bowl, but Evans does have a small chance if he goes off in the next few weeks.
I think Evans has the better chance. I really do, because of name recognition.
There you go. I mean, Evans has been in the Pro Bowl for the last 3 years, I think, 3-4 years.
I think it's been like 12.
Well, when you've been in the league, 22 years, 12's not a bad number.
Yeah, every other year. It's like Brady in Super Bowls.
There you go. All right. Well, let's move it in from the wide receiver position to the tight end position.
Mm-hmm.
OJ Howard's been hurt. He's not. I don't know that he would. I don't know. That's all speculation. But let's talk about Rob Gronkowski. He's a guy who's made his fair share of Pro Bowls before.
Mm-hmm.
As he's back. No secret, he hasn't necessarily had a resurgence of a season, but he's done okay for himself in the last handful of weeks. What do you think? Is Rob really a contender for the Pro Bowl this year?
I think he'll get some votes, but is he really a contender? I don't think so. Yeah. But then again, I don't know who is. Like,
as a tight end.
Yeah, who are the top tight ends? Like, Kittle's hurt. He's not going. The only other tight end that people, gush about is Keichel. In Kansas City, but he's had a terrible year. They don't throw the ball to the tight ends in Seattle.
Gotcha.
They don't. So that's that. So I mean, he could make it a reputation, but but I really don't pay enough attention to, I guess,
other teams.
Kelsey. I always call him Keichel.
Yeah.
Like I want to combine Kelsey and Kuechly together, and I go Keichel. So, so Kelsey from the Chiefs, obviously, but he's in the AFC, so it doesn't matter. So he could make it. I don't think he deserves it, but maybe he does, because I don't really hear of another tight end. Like Philly, Ertz usually has a good year, but Philly can't score to save their lives. Like, no one's having a great year in Philly.
Ertz is on IR now, I think, isn't
he? News to me. I don't watch the NFC East this year. I just can't.
I only say that because I have Ertz in fantasy, and I'm pretty sure I had to get rid of him because of that.
Yeah, injuries killed my fantasy team this year.
Oh, me too.
Killed it.
Yeah,
it was over. My top 2 running backs were done by the end of week 1. Yeah.
All right. So with that, let's come into the offensive line. Let's go sort of across the offensive line. We've already talked about Donovan Smith. No chance there. Ali Marpet's a guy. Do we really even need to have that conversation with him, just completely on the opposite side?
I guess what the conversation is, do you think he's going to make it?
I think he is.
I do too.
We actually went through that exercise several episodes ago when we looked at who is his competition, and we're like, yeah, actually, Ali's in, like, because they take 4, I want to say,
I think so.
4 guards, and of the 4 guards that are existing, that are carrying over, one of them's retired, one of them's on IR, and the other one's like not playing anymore or something.
Yeah,
opted out. So yeah, I mean, I can't say that I know what all the other guards look like across the NFC, but Ali's.
And I feel like since the Bucs have been playing a lot of primetime games, and even in the game he didn't play, like, they talked about him, like, Ali Marpet's a really good guard, like, they miss him a lot. And then when he did play, Ali Marpet, like, he's a really good guard. So that's kind of the key when the national guys start telling everybody else that this player is really good.
Yeah.
Even though we've been saying it for 2 or 3 years, I think Marpet's got a really good chance. Maybe. Yeah. The 3rd best chance on the team.
All right. We'll skip over Jensen because I want to come back and talk about him in a minute. Kappa's probably a no-go.
Yeah, he's playing fine. He's playing really well, but no one knows the hell he
but
is.
not up there. I do want to have a conversation though about Tristan Wirfs as
Yeah.
a rookie.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that he has it based on like
He's a top 5 right tackle overall, not top 5 rookie,
okay.
not
So-
top 5 offensive
So
rookie.
he legitimately could make it, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think he will. I do. Even though I don't give him his, I still think Allie will make it. I give a higher probability of Allie making it.
Sure.
But I just have a feeling that he's just gonna sneak in there. I've been watching his interviews. He's got to be the most unjaded person
Yeah.
that I've
Did you
ever.
see his mic'd up video that he had.
What the hell is an Uncrustable?
You don't know what that is?
No.
It's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that they've like sealed the edges of it, so there's no crust on it. Because you know how kids don't like crust on their sandwiches, so they've like cut it off and like they've Ziploc sealed the edge of the Uncrustable.
Is it round?
It's round, and you stick it in your fridge, and it's what a lot of kids Tristan's age probably had in their lunch bag every day going to school.
He wants that protein. He needs some peanut butter is what he needs. Man, I need an Uncrustable.
Yeah, and the bread on it is so like spongy when you're it's gross and delicious all at the same time.
Nice.
And you go, there's no way that's healthy for you, but it's probably
yeah.
healthier than half the other crap that kids are eating out there anyway. So
That's peanut butter and jelly. It can't be the worst. But yeah, and then I've told you the story about when he was on the Salty Dogs, and they're like, what's the favorite thing you bought?
Uncrustables are delicious. So.
All right, well, whatever.
I'll say this: an Uncrustable is one of those things. If my kids have them, we don't give them that very often because they just don't like them. But if we had them, I would probably grab one every once in a while for myself.
Yeah.
So,
box of 8. Brent ate 4.
I said every once in a while.
Well,
I like crust on my sandwiches.
If the kids, I don't. I was never a non-cruster. I guess I was for a little while, but I never asked for them to get cut off, so they didn't. So I just kind of left them on the plate, on a little paper plate. I'm done, but that didn't last very long either. So anyway, but yeah, and then when he was on with talking about Tristan Wirfs was on with the Salty Dogs, and they're like, what's the favorite thing you've bought?
Then he's talking about the teapot.
And but before that, he was like, he went and got a dish soap dispenser.
Oh yeah,
this thing really helps me do the dishes. And like you're expecting, like, oh yeah, I bought this condo, or I got these really cool Jordans I've always wanted, or a car. And then he remembered, like, he's showing the dishes, and he goes, oh no, wait, that's not true. And then he gets up from the Zoom call, and you hear him like talking across, and he comes back, and it's like an electric tea kettle. And he's like, this is so cool. And then when he had his interview after the Panthers game, he's like, yeah, I thought we took off. Like, I thought we were in there for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
He thought they took off when everyone started to stand up.
He was watching Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, and that's
the movie. You get lost in that movie real quick. So
sure, but when the reporter goes, "Hey, what were you watching?" Like, he took it as like a lot of people are like, well, or kind of like leery about like what to say, or like, are they going to judge me on this, or maybe I don't want to tell anybody." But he's like, he took it like a very, I was watching Avengers Endgame. I'm like, all right, man, like he's just I don't even think unjaded is the right word. It's naive, almost childlike sort of lens that he sees the world through. Mm-hmm. But he's not like stupid. You know what I mean? It's not like he's going to get into trouble and like every con man comes around the corner and is going to take all his money. He's just I just can't figure him out yet. But I think he's going to make the Pro Bowl.
All right.
What do you think?
I don't know. I definitely think he needs to be in conversation. I think he needs to be in consideration for that. Mm-hmm. I think we have seen time and again he's the best rookie tackle that was taken this year. And I don't think it's really that close, to be frank. Yeah, I just don't know what the other right tackle or just tackle situations look like out there, but I think he could definitely be in the mix. So
sure.
yeah. Again, one of those. It wouldn't shock me to see him make it, and I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, just because everything else. I would be surprised if Allie didn't make it. I would be disappointed if Tristan didn't. Right, but let's talk about our next guy,
Sure.
Ryan Jensen. Ryan Jensen's been having a good year. He had a good year last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's been having a good year this year.
Mm-hmm.
Made the switch last week over to guard and still brought his A game. Made a huge impact on the offensive line. Does Ryan Jensen have the clout? Does he have the stuff to earn him a bunch of votes and get him into the Pro Bowl this year?
Stuff to go to the moon. Do you have the right stuff? I don't think so, and I don't know why. And again, I don't know who's playing better than him because I don't think so. Because following John Ledger of Pewter Report, you kind of get introduced to certain guys because he retweets or comments on their stuff.
Uh-huh.
And there's this guy out there who runs like an offensive line camp, and he's sort of like the offensive line guru. He breaks down film, and he did after 8 games, he did his Pro Bowl, and 3 people from the Buccaneers line made it for the NFC: Marpet, Jensen, and Worse. So he deserves it. But I don't know. I don't think he's gonna make it.
Okay.
I just don't. And I can't tell you who's playing better, or probably name 3 centers in the NFC.
Fair enough. All right. Well, then let's. I think Jensen should at least be in the conversation. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say if people are going to vote for him. In fact, I don't think people probably will vote for him outside of Buccaneers fans, maybe some Ravens fans. I don't think he's endeared himself to the wide voting audience out there. Is he done enough to capture the votes of the other players and other coaches? Maybe. We know that Ryan can be a bit of a hothead, so I don't know how that sits with other teams as far as voting for him.
Right.
But I think Jensen certainly has enough to get his own team's votes and his own coach's votes and his fans' votes between here and between Baltimore. But I'm just not sure how he'd pull that out. So we'll see. All right, one more name on the offensive side, sort of offensive side, not really.
Who?
Do what?
Huh?
Yeah, sort of offensive side. Actually, it's special teams.
Okay.
Ryan Suckup. Let's talk about Ryan Suckup. They just often because he gets points. But let's talk about Ryan Suckup. Ryan Suckup's having a fantastic year. He's kicking, I think, over 90% at this point in the season.
I think it's over 100.
It's possible in the new math.
It's
yes,
100,
common core.
102.5, just like QBR rating.
Yep, there you go. 102 is low, man. What in the world? No, anyway. But what do you think, Ryan Suckup? Is this a real shot at making a Pro Bowl for him?
Sure.
All right. Sure. Yeah, there you go. I would like to think so.
Yeah.
I would like to. That would almost be poetic. Buccaneers, for all the kicking struggles we've had, we get this guy in and he turns and goes to the Pro Bowl his first year in Tampa Bay.
Speaking of kicking troubles, you see who's coming back Monday night to kick in Ray J?
Is it Nick Folk?
Nope.
Or Gay?
Yep.
Is it Gay? Did he get signed with the Rams?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
I did not see that. Last I heard, he was still free agent out there. So
yeah.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I hope he has the same troubles in the south end zone that he's always had.
Right.
All right.
If he kicks like a 67-yarder to win the game, I'm going to shoot him.
Oh, right.
Like from the top of the scoreboard with my sniper rifle.
Right. All right. Let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. We'll start kind of going across the line. Shaq Barrett had a Pro Bowl selection last year, leading the league in sacks. Not doing so much so this year. You think Shaq's done enough to get a second nod back into the Pro Bowl this year?
Not a chance.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because he plays the edge position, the outside linebacker position, and the only stat that gets the votes is sacks, and he doesn't have them.
Right. All right, let's go over to the other side then. What about JPP? Has JPP got enough to get it?
I think he's close.
He hasn't made it in a couple of years. So.
I think he's close, but I don't think he's going to make it.
Yeah. Is that just because the competition at that position is so tough that he'll get edged out by the other people around the league?
Well, he's probably going to finish the year like less than 10 sacks. And if he does, it's going to be right around 10. And there's going to be 8, 9 guys in the NFC that have 10 sacks or more. So that's just, again, that's it. Like if you play outside linebacker, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to cover. You don't have to, run defense. Just get sacks. And if you get sacks, you make the Pro Bowl.
Gotcha. Let's come inside. What about Ndamukong Suh? Any chance on him? Yeah, I don't think so. Vita Vea is out. I think that would have been an interesting conversation had he not gotten injured.
They might have both made it if Vita Vea was played.
Vita and Suh, you think?
Yeah, like we could be talking about both of them because now, like it was sort of like pick your poison. Like if you double Suh, Vita Vea is going to eat your lunch. And if you double Vita Vea, Suh's going to eat your lunch. Well, now Vea is gone, so they just double Suh. And, relying on McClendon and Nacho and Golston to make the plays. I think Golston's doing a great job. Best year he's had in years. McClendon had one, like his first game. We're like, oh my God, where's this guy come from? Right. And now every time I see him, he's like getting off the bottom of a pile 4 yards downfield. And Nacho's, I haven't seen Nacho in 3 weeks do anything. Not that they're playing bad, maybe they might be doing what the scheme calls for. I'm just saying that when we're talking about the Pro Bowl, I don't think anyone along defensive lines going to make the Pro Bowl at all.
I don't necessarily disagree with you on that. I would love to see. I think out of everybody out there, JPP is probably our guy with the best shot at it. But
for sure.
I don't know that he's going to do it. Although
he's got to get double-digit sacks like in the next 2 or 3 games.
Yeah. Now I would say this as far as like elder veteran statesman in the league who has the notoriety and the all that other stuff to go with it that could push him into it. JPP might have that. Yeah. But I don't know that that's going to be enough to actually get him into the Pro Bowl. So, but I think he should. All right, Lowell, let's drop back. Kind of in the same boat as Ali Marpet to me, almost a sure lock is Levante David. Yeah.
He was the other guy that I put above Marpet as I think the best chance. I think Brady and Levante David. I think Levante David is going to be practically a lock because people have slowly started to learn about this guy. The sort of like the hard push.
His 11th year in the league.
Yeah, the hard push that Buccaneers fan and the Buccaneers organization really finally got behind it, of letting people know how good this guy is, like started a few years ago. So now when the Bucs are finally winning and they're on prime time and he's still doing Levante David things, I think it's almost a shoe and a lock. It's like fixing the travesty. It's like when the Lord of the Rings trilogy was like shut out for the awards for the first one and the second one, right? And then the third one, they won everything,
right?
It's like you're getting this, you're getting
everything last,
you're getting this because you just made the greatest trilogy. You made the highest grossing trilogy, the most entertaining. Like this isn't highbrow art cinema stuff and teach everybody a lesson or uncover some scandal. It's dragons and swords, but you did it great, and you basically let 12 years. You put 12 years of your life into this, and like every day for 12 years, and here's your reward, like 20,000 Oscars.
We'll give you the entire year.
Yes.
I didn't like the way that they decided to do it. I understood why, but I just didn't like it because those were 3 movies that came out at 3 different times, and I think they each should have been recognized for their own merits. Anyway, moving on back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Sure.
Let's talk about the guy playing opposite Levante David, Devon White.
Yeah.
Devon White also has been turning quite a few heads this year, although at least on this show, we have, there have started to be some critiques, maybe some cracks in the armor That is Devon White. But is that enough, or is there enough there to sneak Devon White into a Pro Bowl in his second year in the league?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really do. I hope he doesn't make it.
Why?
Because I want him to be so pissed. And I want the coaches to tell him is the reason you didn't make it because you can't freaking cover. And he just burns a hole in him.
Right.
And he just practices and practices and practices and practices and comes back next year and is going to rip people's heads off.
Oh, wait a minute. Ren, isn't there like a thing now where like we don't want our guys to make the Pro Bowl because of what it means for their like salary come their fifth year or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Like there's like a salary cap reason to not want them to make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, on your rookie contract.
When we did that episode, we're like, this is gonna make people not want their own players go to the Pro Bowl because of it could actually like hurt your team the following year. Because
I think we used Vita Vea because he would be the first one up, being a first round draft pick. Like if he's out now, but if he made 2 of like the next 3 Pro Bowls, and because the way the CBA was, he had to make the next 2, and your 5th year option was stacked sort of on that, and it was a difference of like $12 million.
Yeah,
of making like the Pro Bowl the next 2 years, which would have been this year, next year.
Good for the players, bad for the organization.
Like, yeah, I mean, how do you like plan for that?
I know, right?
You know?
Yeah. Anyway, I am never going to vote against our people making the Pro Bowl. That's just going to be a personal policy I have, but it is just something to consider.
Did you see what Joey says in the chat there? It's kind of along those lines.
Yeah. Joey over in the chat says, hey, if you guys heard about the people in Jacksonville voting for Yannick Ngakoue to get into the Pro Bowl, who Yannick unceremoniously left Jacksonville this past year, they want to vote for him so that they can get a better draft pick.
Yeah.
Now I don't know how him getting probably a comp pick. I think it's probably what
it's a comp pick. So if he goes to the Pro Bowl, I think their comp pick jumps to a 3rd rounder.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I live in Jacksonville and I've not heard a single person talking about that. But I can't say that I hear all of Jacksonville either. But I have.
You got to be on Jacksonville Jaguar Twitter, I think.
I am.
Are you really?
Yeah. I live here. I know people. I talk to people.
Get so defensive about it.
Yeah, you're looking at me like I just stabbed you through the heart. I'm like,
because you did.
Oh, well, sorry.
And all the Bucs fans. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to everybody there in chat.
I apologize to nobody. I live in a town. I follow whoever I'd say I want. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Devon White. I hope he makes it. I don't know that he will.
I hope he doesn't make it.
You hope he doesn't.
I don't think he deserves it. I don't care who. I don't even know who's up.
Yeah.
Like
I
don't give a shit if you made 11 tackles. They're all 9 yards down the field because they keep throwing the ball to your guy.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Carlton Davis. Let's talk about him.
He's in.
Let's drop it back. Yeah, I don't know.
It's gonna be tough. This is the guy who's not gonna make it that I'm gonna be the most upset about.
Yeah. Well,
who should
love
make
yourself
it?
Some Carlton Davis, though.
I do, because he's freaking awesome. Yeah. It's because I saw it before everyone else saw it.
Gotcha. That's what it is.
It was because 2 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I watched the Carlton Davis Mike Evans matchup in training camp, and I kept tweeting him like, you got like, if you go to training camp, watch Mike versus Carlton. Like, it's worth the price of admission. And Carlton would shut him down, man, and be all over him. And it was just fun to watch. 2 guys going at it really, really hard.
There you go. I don't know. I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think anybody in our cornerback room is going to make the Pro Bowl this year. I just don't. I don't. Almost like who is it? Almost kind of like with what Levante has been going through, and maybe even Ali. Like, I just don't think they have enough clout to get that. Like, and let's face it, our secondary hasn't been shutting it down the last couple of weeks. Now Carlton might have been, but I don't like as a whole. I don't know that they've necessarily been shutting it down. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that he's going to make it.
Carlton's the one I want to make it the most.
Yeah,
because I mean, obviously, I want Levante and Allie to make it over him, but I think they're going to make it. So now I turn around and go, who's left? The next guy that I want in. If we only have 3 Pro Bowlers, those are the 3 I want. David, Marpet, and Davis.
Although I will say this, I do want to put this in talking about Carlton. Joey says he thinks Carlton Davis should change his Twitter handle to Can Guard Mike. Right, Ren?
That's what you're saying.
I was going to say, that's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
That's what I've been saying. He needs to change it to Can Guard Mike because I think that'd be hilarious and funny as hell. But anyway.
Well, the listeners are just used to all the clever, funny things coming from me.
Coming from you. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. That's the third time you've been snarky.
It's kind of nice. All right. So do we need to move? I mean, like SMB, Jamel Dean, Ryan Smith. I mean, any of these guys?
No.
All right.
Who's the guy that got erased? the Panthers tackle just erased the guy.
Cockrell. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, literally. Yeah, you just matrixed him. Where'd he go? I don't know. Barely hit him.
One more guy that I want to talk about, and that's Antoine Winfield Jr. Does Antoine Winfield Jr. as a rookie have a legitimate shot at making a Pro Bowl as he stands now in week 10, not as he stood back in week 3 and 4?
I think he has a legitimate shot. I don't think he's gonna make it. And here's why. If he's not sort of making splash plays every other week, he kind of came on with a bang.
Yep.
And then he got an interception and here we go. But he's been kind of quiet after that.
That's why I said as he sits in week 10, not week 4.
Right.
If we voted back in week 4 and then we stopped the count, I think hands down he would have been in.
Yeah.
But we haven't. We're voting now, not then. And it's just not been that splashy. He's not been that noticeable.
Yeah, and there's I think the safety's sort of the new. You know how I talk about how they used to call edge guys tweeners.
Yeah,
he's not an end, but he's not a linebacker, so they just made up a position and then he's edge. I think safety's really going through that morphing thing right now. Some of the best athletes on defense are safeties, but we're gonna play they're gonna take Jalen Ramsey, who's plays safety, but he's really a corner, but they're gonna play him one-on-one against whoever they want to, and the whole rest of the defense is gonna play zone,
right?
And he's gonna play one-on-one. But you look at Seattle, the guy that just left your Jaguars. Who the hell is his name? No, he just left the Jets.
I couldn't even tell you that it was on the roster up here to tell you. I don't even know who the quarterback is right now up here in Jacksonville.
I thought you were on Jacksonville Twitter. I thought you were on Jaguars Twitter.
Yeah,
you were plugged in.
No.
The people. So anyway, there's safeties out there, and I think this is a lot like guard in the NFL, where your name can carry you 2 or 3 years before everyone kind of realizes that you stink, or I shouldn't say you stink, but you've lost it, or that it takes an extra year or 2 or 3 for the young bucks to come in and take your spot, unless you were a top 10, top 15 safety pick, which Winfield wasn't. He was second round.
Gotcha. All right. Well, with that, for the record, yeah, I don't think Winfield's going to make it based on what we have seen. Although I'd love to be proven wrong on that. I'd love for him to have more clout within the league than what I as a fan see. For when people go in and study tape and they see what he's still doing week in and week out, even if it's not super flashy. I'd love to see that, but I just don't think it's going to happen. So anyway, Ren, with that, man, that's the team.
That's it.
That's really it. As we go across board, and we're not going to be voting for coaches or staff members to go to the Pro Bowl. So, That's really it, man. So fun show, good show. Talking about the Pro Bowl. You guys go out, vote right now. Vote for your Buccaneers. Vote for the guys that should make it in. Vote for the guys that you want to see make it in. The guys that maybe who don't have a little bit of a longer shot, like a Ryan Jensen, who really probably ought to be in. I would love to see Ryan in personally. I'd love to see Antoine Winfield Jr. in.
How many possibilities do you think there are?
I think legitimately there
Offensive
are.
line, there's 3. Brady's 4. Rojo's 5. You think Gronk's an actual possibility?
No,
okay.
I don't. No.
Do you think JPP is an actual possibility?
No, I don't. I think JPP gets lost in the
I'm gonna throw JPP in there as a possibility.
Okay.
You know,
Sure.
David, of course.
Yeah.
You're gonna put White in? No, you're not gonna put White in as a real possibility.
No, if we were in a year of alternates, yes, but not in a year without alternates. No.
Okay. Carlton Davis, I'm putting in because I think he's gonna make it.
Okay.
And then are you gonna put Winfield in as a possibility? No, me neither. So we got 8 guys that we think have a real shot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And that's without Winfield or Devon White.
Yeah.
Or Gronk, but that's just, he's more machine than man now. Like he's yeah.
All right. Well, Ren, that's going to do it for us here on this episode of the Pewtercast. Hey, you guys make sure you tune in to us Friday night. We're going to be coming back with Buck in the News. We'll be talking, it's Friday or Saturday. We have a Monday night game this week, Ren. I'm not sure. Probably Friday night. We'll be doing Friday night. You guys come join us for Buck in the News. We'll talk about all the headlines, everything that's come out this week, talking about our Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll also, Ryan Suckup, Ren. They're talking about Ryan Suckup. Don't forget about him. Go 9.
Oh, 9.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Thanks, Joe. Joe's been all about Ryan Suckup tonight.
Yeah,
But listen, you guys make sure to check out Buck in the News. We'll talk about all the headlines, injury reports. We'll take a look at this Rams game and everything you guys need to know and exactly what's happening given the COVID situation that's now going on over in LA. So we'll be back with that. And then, we'll come back around. We'll have a post-game show. We'll be back next week and we'll see what all that looks like. So you guys make sure you stay tuned to everything we've got going on here at the Pewtercast. Ren, tell the folks where they can find you out there on the internet.
Best place to find me is on Twitter at Rendax, REN_DAXT. I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football.
And if you guys want to get in touch with me, you can find me at Brent Allen Live across all the social medias. And the show is at the Pewtercast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Email us to thepewtercast@gmail.com. Please keep in mind, anything you guys send us, we may use on an upcoming episode of the Pewtercast. Well, guys, that's going to do it for us for tonight. So until next time, go Bucs.